the fly. Oh goodness. Can I? I didn't hook up my mic. I don't know if anybody can hear me. Oh, there we go. We might. You're gonna have to let me know. Let me know. Let me know if y'all watch Mermaid Prophetess. I love her so much, and she's always like big hearts in the chat. Let me know. Let me know. So that's where I get it from. So nobody can say I'm appropriating her. Hi everybody. Welcome to our little with all of the astrological buffoonery that's going on right now. I'm just like, you know what? Like, I found live, oh my goodness, like, other channels. But this will be my fourth time today. Yeah, first time on YouTube. People are so much nicer on other channels. I'm just gonna, YouTube, y'all need to, like, step it up. Because you are mean over here. I don't know who peed in your Cheerios, but it is such a different, and I'm on a very, very, I wouldn't say risque platform, not anything like that. I mean, it actually is. It can be risque. It's called Clapper, and I've had a pretty. It's my largest following over there, but I stopped posting over there just because. Oh, can you hear me? The politics are a little. I like to stay. I like to basically. I have my own code of ethics that I go by, right? And so I base people on how they treat other people and how they treat me, not based on labels. So, I actually, before this whole thing, I would consider myself a libertarian. Definitely rode the fence, rode the line, because I am a capitalist. So, there's a lot of, there's a lot of crazies on either side of things. I believed in, a democracy and Democrats and Republicans. But now it's turned into there's supposed to be a separation of church and state, right? And so we don't have that. And so I'm not anti-Republican and I'm not anti-Democrat. Those are two parties that are supposed to have opposing, right? We're supposed to have checks and balances, but now it's turned into a culture, and that's just something that just gives me the ick. So that's why I love playing with pretty things. I am 47 years old, almost 47 years old, and I play, like, I have, 30 decks in front of me. I have sticker books. I have hula hoops. I have toy. I have Legos. I have puzzles. I have all of the things. I just hang out. I don't watch the news anymore. I don't listen to the bullshit anymore. I'm just like, if something is big enough, like a hurricane, I'll see it on YouTube. Other than that, no moss. So welcome, 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 everybody. I just wanted to get on here and ramble a little bit. Ramble on. I'm going to actually, like, if I can see y'all. So I've got a hi in here. Hi, hello, welcome. Come on in. I'm going to go ahead and just clear the energy a little bit. So I hope y'all are doing well. I'm glad that you're here. Please be kind and lovely. But I am, if you sub, I don't know, over on TikTok, if you sub, I can see it, and then, but yeah, if you're interested in a free little mini reading, just let me know that you subbed, and we'll go ahead and whip those puppies out, okay? So, hi, where are y'all from, by the way? Whole, yeah, I'm gonna butcher those. I'm not gonna even go there. If you ask me something, then great. If not, then that's also great. So, I thought I would just jump on here and just kind of bullshit. Usually I'm up here like wagging my finger and yelling at you. So we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, which is exciting. But it looks like I might have to break out the cards. Let's see here. I am from India. I understand everyone has a good impression for Indians for various reasons. Few Indians spoil our country's name, mainly from the north. No, sure. I mean, that's everywhere, right? I totally get it. It's, my mom's from the Caribbean, and she was just, even though she's, you know, um, she's just like, she won't associate herself with African Americans or Black Americans or American Americans or anything like that. She has a very big chip on her shoulder. Everybody, there's a caste system in your culture. There's a caste system in my culture. Definitely in the Latin flavor. I was bred to be biracial. My mom sought out a Caucasian man because she knew, coming from her culture, that if I had lighter skin and if I had a neutral accent, that I could have a better life. But really, she could have a better life vicariously living through me. But that's a whole nother story. So I totally understand it. Thank you for sharing that, Felix, Joseph. Um, I definitely find, I guess this is kind of like that. What time is it over there, if you don't mind if you don't mind me asking? I don't know what the time difference is. When I was in DC, when I was flying, I actually, two of my roommates, my first roommates were from Bangladesh, and they were lovely, and it was awful to see how the rest, and we were in a very affluent, um, neighborhood in Sterling, DC, and people were awful to the point they would go out and grill, and these men fed me. They introduced me to their families. I mean, waited on me. I say waited on me, but like fed me when I couldn't walk for like 9.5 months, right? And I was going through like a really heinous like situation, and they were so respectful, so kind, so. But we would go out on the back porch and grill, and people would just like leave, right? Like we had these, beautiful townhouses. It was like a six. I was on the walk up. I needed it for my knee. I had pretty severe knee surgery. Mm. But that being said, I realized, I have. People are like, oh well, you haven't experienced that much because you can pass, or I didn't know that you were this, that, and the other. I receive hate from every. This isn't a poor me, but biracial kids, especially being racially ambiguous, right? And so, but we also have to look at ourselves. We have to look at ourselves. We talk about like people are talking about black fatigue at um at the Houston. Everybody can be tired of everybody. It was so nasty before the World Cup. And you know what I love about the World Cup? I'm like, as everybody leaves, I like it. The channel is pretty triggering, but what I do love about the World Cup is that it's bringing so many people together, right? I had an opportunity. I was very blessed to be able to travel into Europe. We had exchange students almost every single year of growing up, whether it was one for an entire year or two, for 6 months at a time, from Iran, um, from the Basque country, from Denmark, I mean, everywhere, right? And then we had an opportunity to go over to Europe and go travel and see all of them, right? And so I got to go meet our host students' families over there, right? And so we got to see how they lived, right? Like in Switzerland and Geneva and, in Charlemagne and like, Italy, all of these places where it wasn't like we were just doing the tourist stuff, but just seeing how people, and then coming back to America, and then going, to the Caribbean, but going over into Haiti, going over into Dominican, not just to the resorts, right, but to the markets where people are coming with a live turkey, so they can get a haircut, and there's a barber chair in the middle of a market, and in the middle of chicken shit, and this is where people are like living and raising their families, and I mean, it's just, we are so blessed in America, and people just take it for granted, and it's really I do appreciate. I just don't hope the Europeans get so fat with all the ranch. Let's just say that. I generally don't talk about politics on here, but I will talk about like humanity, right? And from my experience, because I can't say that one party is better than the other. I just judge on. We all bleed red, right? Everybody has something to say about a Mexican or a black or a white or this, that, and the other until they're in an emergency, right? And then you're like, oh, I wish I treated the flight attendant better. Oh, I hope that doctor isn't racist when he cuts into my Latino child, right? Oh, like everything is fine until there's an emergency, and now you're like, maybe I wish I had treated that person better, right? Or if someone like hits the lottery, maybe I shouldn't have, like there's so much out here, and there's so much more in our life. That's why I do. Call me, stick my head in my. I am self-centered. Why would at night, I'm not being at the center of my own universe, right? The only way, what you learn as a flight attendant is that the only way that you can help everyone else is to help. And people say it and they hear it. I've heard that all my life, right? Put your mask on first. Well, it's a real ass thing. If I don't have oxygen, I can't help the 360 other people, including my crew, including my pilots, including ground control, including MedLink, right? When shit goes down, people like, they come to, like, I've been to 3 flight attendant trainings, right? Valedictorian, all 3. 18 CGAs, which is certificate, people saying, yes, you can come to our airline, right? I know how to get hired. I can't stay well in it because I'm not supposed to be around people, right? I've been in hospitality since I was 14 years old. Thousands of catering jobs, thousands of tables waited, thousands of bartended drinks made, thousands of people waited on. People are people. You're going to see the same person in an office, and they just have a different meat bag. They have a different meat suit. It's called pattern recognition, right? And what I'm just really frustrated at is with, like, come on, like, we're talking about people's basic human needs, right? Like, I just, so yeah, I will not get on board with anyone, and that's where, this channel is going to take a turn, towards hospitality and, like, how to treat, because some people, you've been raised by wolves. I was raised by wolves in sheep's clothing, so I have all of the this, that, and the other, but there was no ethics behind my parents. It was just all show. So I speak real well, and I talk real well, and people, it's so interesting, if a woman of color is articulate, right? They're like, she talks white. So white is right. Come on now. And I'm biracial, Well, I'm multicultural. How about that? How about them apples? So let's go ahead and see what we've got here. So, living, new subscriber. Do you choose the free reading? No. Hi. Thank you. Welcome. YouTube it. You ask me a question, and let's rock and roll. Obviously, we don't want anything too personal, right? But as long as it's not something, and I'll let you know if it's not, if you're gonna be like, is he gonna text me this Saturday, or is he gonna, like, we're not doing that. Like, you need to ask a real question, okay? Don't squander it. You're in the running. Thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate you. So if you ask the question, I will answer it. Okay. Perla, I'm from the southern. Oh, that's like going into somebody's. What have you? So if you're still here, go ahead and let me know. If not, I will show you something really fun that I tried. Did I put it there? Let me put my little dorky glasses on. All right, here we go. Hello, there you are. I want to know if there's at least a possibility of reconciliation. That I can do. Too sweet, my friend. Okay. So, and thank you for keeping it. I like my reads cold. So, the chillier the better. Meaning, I don't need to have birthdays or anything like that. I am gonna run down. I drink a lot of beer when I read. It's better than eating. And because I'm not wearing a wig or a hat, which is what I did for a really long time, almost all of my readings, my crown gets a little loose. So beer, mead, crown's down, and this is my guilty pleasure. Okay, so reconciliation. Do we want? I'm gonna go with the tea deck. Okay, I will show it to you. It's got a ton. It's very specific, so the words will come out. I'm gonna shuffle here. And then if something is a little obtuse, so is there a possibility of reconciliation? When you adjust your sound, gets better. Your sound is low. Oh, okay. You know what? I might just switch. This isn't the best setup here. I might just switch to my All right. Since you're talking to me and you're giving me feedback, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna pop this out, and then I'm gonna put my earbuds in. Hang on. Pardon me, and then you let me know if it's better. Okay.
Okay, is that better? Can you hear me? I do have audio issues. I've had it. All right, you let me know. Manipara chakra while I go ahead and pull a card for this. Better? Okay. Thank you. I appreciate the feedback again. All right, so let me go ahead and pull a card for you. Oh, I was telling you, this is the T deck, which is just kind of like in your face. But if I want to do anything more, if it comes up a little weird, I'll pull something else. But 100%. Okay, yay. Well, I stopped with these because when I was recording, I saw that it was, if I talk too loud and I get a little excited, especially when I'm in flow, I'm just like, "Brrr." And it will the audio, even though I turned the little thing off that says don't do the noise blocking or whatever, I find that there's cut in there because it's doing the thing that the AirPods do. Okay, I'm in flow now, so like I can't access that part of my brain. Prefrontal cortex has left the building. I'm just in flow. Okay, let's see here. Thank you. So we have here victory in some endeavor. This came over to the left, which means it's in the history. So this is just the kind of the discard. The first card in reading for any of my aspiring readers is always going to state the issue, whether it's a person. If I'm with the Lenormand, usually a person will come out that's matching the energy of the person. With the T deck, this is saying, you just asked if there's going to be reconciliation, which encourage because I'm trying to give you all of the little details of this, right? There was not a victory in it, so that's why it's upside down and it's in your history. So that's identifying what you were asking. Um, okay, yeah, no, I'm super blunt. I do hurt people's feelings, but I'd rather you walk away a little butthurt and clear. And then if it's not clear, because sometimes I had a couple of readings today on TikTok where it was like, it's up to you, right? So the cards, that's why I let them fly. And so that they can determine the energy. I just found it's made my reading so much more accurate. And I'm not afraid I don't want people, the best that these cards saved my life because now I know like what I feel about people, the cards will or will not. And be like, oh, I got that wrong. It really helped me open up my mind to other people. So let me go ahead and just like, that's the one thing I squirrel out very easily, but it's my superpower. Here we go. We're back. Back in the pocket. Okay, here we go. We got the boat, money, property, inheritance, winning, or windfall. We're not mad at it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull some tarot. I don't like to use tarot for yes or no type of stuff. I like this because it's like again for $20, 200 cards. You don't need to know tarot. These are fortune. They will hurt your feelings, but they will get you in tune. I'm gonna pull one more, just because we have a past, we have a present. Let me go ahead. I don't. Here's the thing with me. I don't do readings for future because the whole point of having a reading is to see the future and then be able to change anytime free will because people are like, well, this reader said this and this. Well, have you had another hour since you saw that reader? Anytime you make a decision, you change the timeline, right? We're not, people talk about timelines and chosen ones. No, what they're talking about is you would make one single decision and that card, that's why we carry them on us willy nilly because like the timelines change with everybody. Think about everybody interlocking, right? And so when everybody changes their mind, then the reading changes. So it's being in flow and it's being like, okay, so here we go. Like, no, I'm not going to look anymore because I don't want to get tainted. Not tainted by but information. I like doing these cold. It gives me a lot more credibility when I don't know their name. I don't know where they come from. Haystack karma. You will reap what you have sown. Oh, okay, my friend. Now this could be let me I mean, since you're the first person that is, I won't, because I'm not going to. Here's the thing: is like these cards don't have masculine or feminine, like the archetypes in the deck, right? So there's no accusations here. Because here's the thing: is when karma happens, it means two people were at play, but It could be dharma, it could be karma. Karma is like, it's you reap what you sow. Dharma is you harvest what you planted. It's the when you get on the other side of karma, and it's just kind of one of those things. It really is. I didn't believe in this stuff. I grew up in the church. I was like, karma, okay. And now even using those words, what I like to say, if you don't want to, if you don't want to go down the woo route, in the woo lexicon and vocabulary and all of that stuff, we can say consequences. And what goes up must come down, right? Murphy's law. Although I don't really quite resonate with that, but I definitely resonate with gravity, right? And what you put out. If you shoot an arrow or shoot a gun, people don't realize they're like, pew, shooting things. Well, a bullet has to come down somewhere. Okay, so that's kind of what's coming in. And you have to understand, like, where we're at right now, astrologically, we are going into retrograde season. It's judgment time. The seeds that you sowed that's the seeds that were sown last year are going to be coming out. That's why people are like, why am I dating the same person? It's because you didn't learn the lesson. So they might come in a different meat bag, but you're still, until you're willing to walk away, own up to your shit, have some accountability. Like, none of this, you're gonna find the next person or have the same problem in your marriage. It's just gonna happen over and over again. It's the little hamster wheel, but it's really like the small changes that you make. I feel like I'm like preaching at you right now. I'm sorry. So I am gonna pull some tarot. I'm not gonna look at the screen. I am gonna pull tarot. Tarot is very supportive. We'll use this deck right here. Very I do get like, dude, I'm getting masculine off of you. Like, and that's not always the case, when even though I may be talking to a cisborn masculine. The beautiful thing about cards and kind of things where it throws a lot of men off, and even women, but like, women don't mind being portrayed in a masculine way through the cards, but men definitely, like, I mean, the cards will sissify you. They will, because you got the guy who makes the sandwich for his wife or expects the sandwich. If you make the sandwich for your wife, you're going to come up as a king or a knight or something. If you're expecting the sandwich from your wife, you're going to come up as a chick, and men can't handle it, right? But you have to understand, it's the energy that you're in. And here's the thing: is we all have masculine, and the guys that can pull the most are the ones that learn how to not sit in. We're not talking about feminine. The feminine is just a cup. It's a V. Okay, the masculine, right? We're talking about, we got phallic things going on here and receiving things, right? Like, that's just basic caveman situations with the anatomy, right? So when you're in your masculine energy, people are like, she's a dude, or she's a stud, or she's a D, or all of these slang words, because she's super inner masculine, probably because she was assaulted by a lot of masculines, right? And then you find someone like the incel in his mama's basement, right? Like, mama, I love your breast milk. Nah, I don't want to work. I'll just live down here and hang out with my friends on the internet, right? Come on now. He might as well just, I'm just saying, right? So that's an energy. So just because you're cisborn of something, it's what you are bringing to the table in that moment. And we all are supposed to. Sometimes we want somebody to cook for us. We want somebody to scratch our back. And I want you to scratch my back. Or maybe our love language is different. You love your back being scratched, and I love the trash being taken out. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Again, I'm on my high horse called edibles. That's why this is late night, Mara. You can catch LinkedIn Mara on LinkedIn. Mm. So I haven't forgotten you, but I feel like whenever I go, people call it channeling. I don't. I call it streaming, right? I got onto a radio, I'm onto your frequency, and apparently there was something there that needed to. And here's the thing: is I'm going to have to come back and watch this, because I get into flow, it comes out, and then I gotta go like watch it back, because I don't know what the heck came out. That's why it's taken me a very long time to refine my reading, and all of the readings. By the way, anybody, I don't have the new live living menu up yet, but I no one has ever gotten a reading in writing. First of all, I hate writing. I like speaking, speaking to writing, but you would never get a written one, even with ChatGPT. And that's the thing is, I never want people to. There's so many people doing the ChatGPT. It's disgusting. In fact, ChatGPT is a much better tarot reader probably than I am because I'm an intuitive reader, right? You can put me down like a school. So I could get schooled in tarot, but intuitively, right? That's why I have so many decks. It's not because I'm like this big tarot buff. It's they always bring like a certain attitude. So here we go. So let's go ahead and say if there's going to be reconciliation. There's a lot of energy in this deck right here. Oh gosh. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call it out here. No, there's not going to be a reconciliation. So first of all, this deck, it's my very first tarot deck. Okay, I got this from Barnes and Nobles. It's the eight. It's very. I love it. I'm really into like vintage, like tattoos and stuff like that. And it's got that type of artwork, and it has. What's really cool about it is that the artist, because I'm going to give you a little background on this and why these cards mean this way. This is why this is me developing a lexicon with my. Um, I don't like using the word spirit guides, but I definitely do. I have like an old priest. I've got a great grandmother, particular like it is like a cast. It's like a entourage. I prefer to use the entourage thing. And it's not like, oh, spirits that or whatever. They're always around. You either acknowledge them or you don't. I'm never alone. And they're funny. It's kind of like Chat GPT, just like, and it's not something that like I asked for or sought after or anything like that. And it's just definitely been but like I will have to say, I was led to this deck, and what I loved about it is because there were like the artistry of it. First of all, that resonated with me because I've always kind of been in like pinup culture and vintage type of culture. Um, but here, there's the artist, first of all, has her different renderings. Like you can see, like this is her drawing number 77. So there's a couple of cards in here that she drew a couple times, and she has the like this is like the base one that she had that she started out with, and then there's another one. I'm not going to go through it unless it pops itself out. Who knows? Sometimes that's what I like about it because there's two three of cups in here, and one is the empty three of cups. Do you see? There's no color. This is a very colorful deck, right? This is the one that has no color and three cups. So even if this was empty, oh, take that as confirmation. Confirmation verb. Even if this was empty, this would be like this is kind of like or I'm okay. I'm gonna go ahead and say it, and then I'm gonna go. Um, yeah, I've gotten previous reading this overtone. I don't think the outcome is worth it. Here's the thing: is she might come back. I just don't think you want her back. Like that. I always talk. I always tell readers that you are only as good as your question. I have learned so. I've become such a precise. I'm trying to get the grammar going. Trying to be a little bit more articulate with my grammar and my tenses and all that other stuff. But I do, yeah, I'm starting to get. You must have a lot of air. I feel like you're listening. You see, like my energy. I'm like, yeah, like no, I feel you. Like here's the thing: is she might want to reconcile. Like that could happen if you wanted it to. But is that what you want? If you've already created this much distance, let's go ahead and see here, though. Um, Let me just ask flat out now that like we've definitely picked up on that energy. But yeah, no, I'm definitely getting like if you do like just end up hooking back up with her, I would definitely make sure that you would keep everything clean. I would protect yourself because there's definitely some if you shenan once, you'll shenan again. And yeah, okay, we got Nine of Cups in reverse. Like Nine of Cups is personal fulfillment, emotional fulfillment. This is fulfillment, pardon me. The retrogrades get me, like, along with most readers. I definitely feel like this is a no go. This would be like a run, Forrest, run type of situation. I hope I answered your question. Thank you for subscribing. Um, Cool, blunt, broke up, emotional avoidance, timeline always changes. No, but no. Well, okay. Again, I think that people use the word feminine. It's tapping into your feminine. You can be feminine not, I wouldn't even say nature, right? Like we get like the people like laugh about male nurses, right? Why do you think they all get laid? Because people associate feminine with compassion and empathy, and that's not simply not true, right? Some of the coolest, most masculine dudes I've met are fucking nurses that are strong guys that just like loved their grandmother and had to help, right? And just like felt like, you know, maybe they were a little bit more, maybe a lot of Pisces, a lot of Pisces and Cancer men, right? Because they were affected by, you know, the wounded, where were they hurt or whatever, but they have they just can't hack it. It's not hack it. They don't want to because it's ridiculous in male culture. It's so ridiculous. And then you get into like there's only like 100,000 flight attendants in the country across all airlines, and then you have these like dudes that were like 65 that were like in the military. I mean, it is so hyper masculinized, right? And then you have the hyper feminine guys, and then you have the guys that pretend that they're gay so that they can get into your good graces, and then all of a sudden flip the switch. And like it's just crazy when you're in a very like fishbowl type of situation there. So I find it it's kind of like, you know, people get mad at like Caucasian women getting like their hair braided when they're in Jamaica and they call it appropriation. It's kind of like the straight guys pretending to be gay guys, right? Because here's the thing is pilots do not like straight men. Pilots are God. They're like surgeons, right? They do not like straight men. They don't like straight flight attendants. So you'll have a lot of straight ish flight attendants act gay as all get out so they don't get destroyed. Like these pilots they have a lot of pull. You have to understand that their backgrounds come from the military and private intelligence and, you know, law enforcement, all of these things where they have connection. Talk about a good old boys network. Now things are changing because they all had to like get out at 65. You can't fly anymore. So now you have like, and now the airline, because of that culture, you had so many people that like they just couldn't. But now you have like, please come here, fly for free, because only men that had like disposable money, right, from their parents, right? I've met a couple of pilots that were self-made, but they were like contractors and stuff. They had to put in cash to get those flight lessons. It was definitely a place for African American people of any type of minority. There was no, and now they're like, please come in and we'll give you a degree and we'll pay for your this and pay for your that, because they're all dying and they all have cancer. Here's the thing is they all have testicular cancer. The women have like, you have to understand how much radiation that you are exposed to when you are in what they call the triangle of death. There's so much to it. I'm going to have a whole series on it. So like, let me get off the soapbox, climb off the cross, and like look at the things. But okay, feminine. So yeah, let's dive into feminine. Oh, brother, she's been into someone. Yeah, well, she's been with a couple people. Like that card doesn't come up that often, much less in the reverse. So I'm just like I said, wrap it up. What do you know about men culture? Ain't no one hitting. What do you know? Oh, are you oh, tweak dash. What, gosh. People aren't this rude on TikTok. And I thought TikTok was gonna be bad, but like no, the trolling is real on the YouTubes. I bet you get laid a lot because you're trolling a total stranger. You're probably, maybe you're not a stranger. I don't know. It's all good. You dry as sand. Aw. I don't even know what to say to that. I know what we can do though. Like I will moderate myself. Like that's so sad. Like you actually type that out. Oh goodness, how do I do this? I can remove it. I can report it. I could pin it. I mean, I'm sure it's not the real person. Maybe we pin it. Maybe we pin it. There you go. You want some you want some attention? Where does the pin go? Does she get like the top pin? Yeah. Cause I had to look at something. Oh, somebody wants to message is held for review. Wow, somebody really really went at it. I had to look at her face and I'm triggered. Okay, you gotta go. Like now I'm like, now you're haggling. We're gonna do that. Like I thought it would be fun to like make fun of you, but like that's not. We're gonna report, report, citizens arrest, citizens arrest. This is kind of fun. Ooh, let's see here. Ooh, we'll do it harassing someone else. Report. Okay. Okay. Well, I don't. She's. I'm not gonna pull like a Selena on my people. All right. At you, incel alert. Oh no, are you getting mad at me? Weak dash, you're triggered. At you. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm like, we will just like drop out of this. The fact that she's always so many people is shocking. It hurts a lot. Yeah. No. Like, and here's the thing: is like, I won't like say that out loud. So let me give you one more card on this. But like, oh my God, okay, I don't even have to. It's a Queen of Wands in reverse. This is a woman that's got her legs up in the air. I didn't even have to. It was on the bottom. I will. I stand by my reads, and you can come. You can come and yell at me. What I my the name of my investigation company is Bird Dog Investigations. What I work with is divorce and infidelity, right? Like I can just roll out, and I have very specific cards. I've been doing this for a really long time. I have over 60 reads, but over 45 of them have been completely successful. The other ones were because of lack of information, and I still have those people still referring people. It was because of them, or it was timing, or it was something, you know what I mean? So I had one person that came back because I do offer a money back guarantee. Most of my reads for divorces are usually about 10 hours of actual. I only do everything in video or on everything is always, because I can always go back. The cards are always right, but my interpretation it isn't always right, depending on the information that I have at hand, right? And so I'm very thorough, right? I'm doing more corporate work now, but I'm just very passionate about divorces, like considering how shitty mine went. And it wasn't like this back and forth, but it was like the stalker. Like, it's very difficult to prove things in the court of law, but when you can prove it here and you can see it in the cards over and over and over again, you're like, there's no way, right? Like I've got cards. Tarot is very obtuse, but when I've got a card that says like they're a Caucasian, or they're a darker skin, or there's a dog, like with that, you know what I mean, very specific cards. And I've been doing it, thousands. I have a minimum of 1.2 thousand videos on YouTube alone, much less what I've been doing and traveling and keeping myself afloat since I've been using cards. So I don't do the fluff like, are you going to be famous, or does whatever? But like, if you want to know like who's doing what, where, how they met, how long ago it was, I'm not going to do any, but I'm starting to get into jury selection and profiling, right? Because we want the people that are making decisions for our country to be of good character, right? And so the cards never lie. So this is something that's very near and dear to my heart, especially putting them hands into children that they can see, like, is daddy going to come home and molest me because he's too drunk tonight? One card, I can teach a kid with one card, two cards, three cards, how to protect themselves. Well, she's a Queen of Wands in reverse. I'm sorry, like that's just how like I'm so sorry. But this is where people prefer my bluntness. This is why I don't read for a lot of women, because they can't handle it. They get a little too butthurt. Men usually are just looking to get out of something, and it's so funny because well, first of all, everything's very confidential, but most of these men are Christians, but they don't want to be associated with someone that would be considered a witch, and yet I get them out of, and they're very loyal. That's why I have such a large network of older Caucasian men that I've gotten out of divorces and helped them get with the person that they wanted to, or be free, or find the leverage that they needed to, because they're willing to pay. And so that's where, my network comes from. So if you can think about one pilot, right, you get one, you get him out of a set. I have helped out one. He was helping me during the pandemic. He was giving me my first read. And I picked up on the woman he was seeing and his wife, like she was screwing the pastor, like all this stuff. We went back and forth probably 6 or 7 times, like our readings. All of a sudden he disappeared right around this time. You know who you are. I know you watched me. We just talked. Well, it was so nice talking to you, by the way. It was so lovely to connect. That was a really long, that was, yeah, that was the pandemic. And I made enough money on that to start on my trip, and I went to Sedona. I went there for 4 days and I ended up staying 6 weeks and then just kept driving. So all of it, thank you. But he ended up going internet. I met him at a regional, right? Like, here's the thing: is that, what we connected because the wife at his time, like he was one of the few pilots that didn't take his ring off when he got into the airplane. He like we'd go out drinking, like the whole crew, and he'd be paying. He'd have all of us on FaceTime with her while she was at home. Pilots don't do that. They usually walk into the cockpit or the flight deck and take off their rings and lock it away until they on the way home. Right. So it was so cool that he, like, we all became friends, but she was always partying with us. We were in Louisiana for, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. It was Mardi Gras and there was like a new hotel. Yeah, no, it was really awesome. And so I had so much respect for the pilots that like conducted themselves like they were actually married, and it's so far and few between. And so he ended up getting with me and saying like, hey, can you help me out? He was like, he had just started, I think, but we won't say the airline, but an international airline. I think he was like in Singapore or something, and was like, hey, just throwing me a bone. And I ended up like uncovering this whole, all the fuckery. Okay. And I sent the video over and he was like, what the fuck? And I was like, I know, what the fuck, dude? Like, because he was like, because he gave me nothing, right? He gave me a couple of little things and all of this came out and he was like, you're on. So think about when you're talking about men who are trying to get out of their marriages, spending 8 hours in the air talking, just farting and eating food, first class snacks, and harassing the flight attendants type of action, right? So word of mouth went around, right? And so that's where I was able to hone my skills because it was just so new to me, right? But intuitively, and like, and then I stopped eating certain foods and I started getting in shape and I lost a bunch of weight. And it was because like the pure you, like, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like just the purer your water, like it was a natural progression of like wanting to. It wasn't like, oh, I need to like, I'm not a meditator, but like I'm really like, I love riding the bike and I love cooking. Anything that puts you into, then you start like talking about brainwave states and all this other stuff. Like shit gets really cool. We talk about neuroplasticity and NLP, neuro linguistic programming, right? People are like, oh, she does magic and she this, that, and the other. It's like, no, bitch. I just stopped putting the crap in, right? I don't watch, like, there's a lot of like I stopped watching the news. I stopped watching violent shows. Like I used to watch Walking Dead, right? I didn't even grow up with that type of stuff. Now I see a squash squirrel and I cry because my sensitivities, I desensitize the desensitivity type of stuff, right? I don't eat healthy because I like it. I eat healthy because it raises my vibration, which helps me pick up on more spidey senses. I smoke a lot less, devil's lettuce because my olfactory really helps me out when I'm doing readings, right? When I pick up on somebody's like weird Bacardi skunk smell or something like that, right? And like when people are doing craft on me, I can smell them in the middle of the night and go ahead and do what I need to do to protect myself, right? Everything, it's the 365 degree, right? It's making sure that people, because I'm not one of those people like, I'm an empath. I can't be around people because they make me mad. It's like, no, bitch, if you're such an empath, then you should be the one that's taking control or not putting yourself in that situation. We do not blame other people for our lack thereof, right? But everybody wants to blame the finger, but they won't look in the mirror. And then if somebody comes and tells them, you know what I mean? They get, but like, I mean, it is, it, but I was there. It looks like I'm on a soapbox. The reason why I can articulate it so well is because I was that. I was a victim, right? I blamed everybody outside of myself, right? And then I just realized nobody was going to come and save me, and so I decided to save myself. That's why I can be in a lovely the person that I am, and I am like this day in and day out unless you cross me, right? If you come for me, I don't come for anybody. I don't, but I will damn sure I will become the daddy and the mommy that didn't protect me. So anytime people are like, "Oh, she can do a switch up." Well, I think you would switch up. The way I do you see my neck? Oh, I just got a neck roll in there. I'm like, have I ever done that? Seriously though, I have lost 3 daughters. And I was bred to be this like yes massa, no massa, you know what I mean? Submissive, asking, codependent. And, I won't get into all of that because it's none of y'all's business. It'll come up when it comes up, right? I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed of what like grown adults did to a helpless child. Like, are you serious? I'm supposed to be embarrassed about that? No, 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 brown cow. We're coming for that ass right now that I can defend myself. And so yeah, there's definitely this like, woo, I just like squirreled out on that. Like I probably needed to. Like I didn't need to go down that rabbit hole. We'll save that one. There was something I'll remember. I'll remember when I watch this back. But anyways, let's go ahead. Let's do a little reading here. Oh, for review, the fact that she's probably yeah, always Queen of Wands. Yep. Okay. So people went down the garden path on that. So we are at 47. What time is that? So I think we're going to. I didn't get a lot of hits over. Again, it was wild today on TikTok. I had like 97 kind of a reminder. Okay, the rest is football. Okay, time to go. Toodles. I couldn't keep up. Thank you for everybody that's coming. Y'all have got sticks up your bums over here. I'm gonna go hang out with like on Clapper and it's not attention. I just like I love helping people. I do. I love like giving people the truth so that they can move on with clarity, right? All right. I love y'all. Thank you. Bye.